everyone, and welcome to this week's podcast on your skin and its connection to the gut, the podcast where we dive deep into the science behind your glow, inside and out. I'm your host, Sabrina Cooper, and today's episode is a juicy one, all about the fascinating connection between your gut health and the condition of your skin, especially the skin on your face. If you've ever struggled with acne, redness, dryness, or even premature aging, your gut could be the secret culprit or your hidden superpower. So grab your herbal tea, settle in, and let's get into it. So the big question, why does the gut matter for skin health? First, let's lay the groundwork. Your gut isn't just for digesting food. It's a massive ecosystem of bacteria, fungi, and even viruses called the gut microbiome. When this ecosystem is balanced, it helps regulate your immune system, control inflammation, and even manufacture important vitamins like biotin and B12, all very critical for healthy skin. But when the gut becomes imbalanced, what scientists call dysbiosis, it can trigger a chain reaction, leading to increased systemic inflammation, poor nutrient absorption, compromised skin barrier, and an overactive immune response, all of which can lead to facial skin issues like acne, rosacea, eczema, and even psoriasis. So how exactly do the gut and skin talk to each other? It's through what researchers call the gut-skin axis. Here's a simple way to think about it. The gut sends signals, which are chemical messengers like cytokines and hormones, that can either promote skin healing or contribute to skin problems. When your gut is irritated or inflamed, for example, from eating lots of processed foods, antibiotics, stress, or alcohol, it sends out distress signals. These signals ramp up inflammation all over your body, including your skin, and that's when you might notice more breakouts along your jawline, redness across your cheeks, dullness or dryness you can't seem to hydrate away, no matter how much water you drink. Essentially, your face can be a mirror reflecting the health of your gut. So let's dive a little deeper into some common facial skin issues that are linked to gut health. The first one we're going to talk about is acne. Several studies show that people with acne have different gut bacteria compared to those without. Inflammation from the gut can increase sebum production and clog pores. At its core, acne is an inflammatory skin condition that happens when your hair follicles, those tiny openings in your skin, become clogged with oil, dead skin cells, and sometimes bacteria. So I'm going to break down a few of the main players in acne. Your skin naturally produces an oil called sebum through glands connected to your hair follicles. Sebum's job is to lubricate and protect your skin, but sometimes, especially due to the hormonal changes or inflammation, your skin produces too much sebum, which can cause those problems. Normally, dead skin cells rise to the surface and shed naturally, but when excess sebum is present, these cells can stick together and clog up the follicles. So that's why you don't want to have all those dead skin cells. You have to wash your face and cleanse it. Sometimes we do the brushing, those kind of things. A type of called Cutibacterium acnes, formerly known as Propionibacterium acnes, lives on everyone's face skin. In a healthy environment, it's harmless, but when trapped inside a clogged pore, it can multiply and trigger an immune response. So your body sends out white blood cells to fight the bacteria, leading to inflammation. This is when your immune system reacts to the clogged, infected pore. The results: redness, swelling, tenderness, and those telltale bumps we recognize as pimples. Now, there are different types of acne, which I want to touch on. So you have a better understanding. And those are, one, you have the whiteheads, which are closed clogged pores under the skin that have that little white bump on the top of them. You have blackheads, open clogged pores that turn black due to oxygen exposure. So they're often, people will squeeze them out and you'll see them kind of around the nose area a lot of times, like within that little crease. Papules are small red tender bumps. Pustules are the pimples that have like a lot of pus. Those are also, pimples with pus. And nodules and cysts, they're deeper, painful lumps under the skin, and they are more severe and they can often lead to scarring. The most common place for acne to show up is on your face. And why? The face, especially areas like the forehead, cheeks, chin, and jawline, has a concentration of oil glands. Hormones, diet, stress, gut health, and genetics can all influence how much oil you produce and how your body reacts to clogged pores. So when we talk about this gut-skin connection, it's important to remember that acne isn't just about dirty skin or bad hygiene. It's a complex inflammatory process that can start from imbalances inside the body, like you guessed it, the gut. All right, so now that we understand what acne is, let's focus on a major internal trigger, which is the hormones, because hormones has a lot to do with the fluctuations. So that's one of the main reasons why acne shows up and why it's so stubborn, especially around the jawline and lower cheeks. The type of breakout is called hormonal acne, simply enough, and here's how it works. Hormones known as androgens, like testosterone, are natural for everyone, regardless of our gender. But when an androgen levels rise on your skin, it becomes more sensitive to them, and they tell your oil glands to go into an overdrive, pumping out more sebum. More oil plus dead skin cells equals a perfect recipe for clogged pores. So then we have the hormonal fluctuations. Certain life stages and situations can cause hormonal shifts, which in turn can trigger acne flare-ups. For example, we have puberty. Those are our classic acne years in our teens when we start to often get those pimples, and we might have changes and hormonal shifts. Well, we do have hormonal shifts. Menstrual cycle. Another time we see breakouts, often worsen around ovulation and just before your period. It's always bad timing when you get that one pimple that you just don't want, or a cluster of pimples. Then we have pregnancy acne, which causes hormone surges that can either clear or worsen your skin. We have PCOS, which is polycystic ovary syndrome, which is often associated with stubborn jawline and chin acne. And then, of course, the number one, obviously, is stress. So stress triggers cortisol, a stress hormone that can indirectly raise oil production, causing acne. So why the jawline and chin? The lower third of our face, jawline, chin, and neck, has more oil glands that are highly sensitive to hormonal changes. When hormones stimulate oil production, these areas are often the first to react, leading to painful, sometimes deep, cystic breakouts. And talking about the gut and the hormones, this is considered the hidden connection. And here is where it ties back to the gut. Your gut microbiome actually helps regulate hormones, the levels of hormones. When your gut is imbalanced, for example, if you have too many bad bacteria and not enough good, it can interfere with how your body clears excess hormones, how increases inflammation, and makes skin more reactive to normal hormonal shifts. So poor gut health can make hormone-related acne worse, and healing your gut can often make hormonal acne calm down. So that's why it's really important to have a balanced gut. And here's a little tip that I want to leave with you. If you notice breakouts clustering around your period or sticking stubbornly along your jaw, don't reach for the harsh cleansers, because that's what we always feel. We need to clean it out. But this could be a sign to support your hormone balance, and that often starts with healing the gut. So take a look at your hormones and the balance of them before you actually start scrubbing and causing more damage to your skin. Another important skin condition that's tied to gut health is eczema. So we're going to move on. A leaky gut, where the gut lining becomes permeable and lets toxins leak into the bloodstream, can exacerbate eczema by triggering immune responses. Eczema is also called atopic dermatitis, is a chronic inflammatory skin condition that causes the skin to become dry, red, itchy, and cracked. It can show up almost anywhere on the body, but it's especially common to the face, hands, elbows, knees, and neck. So what's happening underneath the surface of eczema? At its root, eczema is a skin barrier problem combined with immune system dysfunction. And a couple reasons could be because a broken skin barrier, your skin acts like a shield, keeping moisture in and irritants, allergens, and microbes out. In eczema, the skin's barrier is weakened. Think of it like cracks in a brick wall. So moisture escapes and irritants sneak in. This makes the skin dry, flaky, and extremely sensitive. There is an overactive immune response. So at the same time, the immune system in people with eczema is often overactive. When it senses even minor threats like dust, pollen, certain foods, or bacteria, it kicks off an inflammatory response causing redness, swelling, and intense itching. What causes eczema? Eczema isn't caused just by one thing. It's usually a mix of things. So some of them could be genetics. If it runs in your family, you may be more likely to get it. There may be an environmental trigger, things like soaps, detergents, allergens, colder weather. Even stress can cause a flare-up. Immune system dysfunction. The immune system misfires attacking harmless substances. Gut health imbalance. And yes, research now shows that gut microbiome plays a big role too. So, is there a gut eczema connection? I guess you could say that in recent studies, it suggests that people with eczema often have an imbalanced gut microbiome, fewer beneficial bacteria, and more inflammatory microbes. That leaky gut, in quotations, we talked about earlier, may be allowing unwanted particles to enter the bloodstream, triggering widespread inflammation, including in the skin. A poor gut environment can make the immune system hyperactive, which worsens eczema symptoms. What are some of the symptoms? We talked about some of them a little bit prior. So itchy, dry, sensitive skin, red inflamed patches, cracks or roughness, oozing or crusting during flare-ups, thickened skin from long-term scratching. And these are just some of the symptoms that are not tolerated well and can be rather uncomfortable. Are there ways that you can manage eczema? Well, there's no real cure yet, but it can be managed through strengthening the skin barrier, using rich fragrance-free, you don't want to use anything with a fragrance, moisturizer. Try reducing the inflammation. There's some newer approaches of non-steroidal creams. The go-to used to be a steroidal cream, but now they're trying to get away with that. Identifying and avoiding personal triggers like food sensitivities, harsh soaps, and extreme temperatures. And honestly, supporting the gut health with an anti-inflammatory diet, getting some probiotics in there, and stress management. One way to think of eczema is to imagine your skin is like a beautiful, strong brick wall. Each brick is like a skin cell and mortar. The glue holding the bricks together is made of fats, proteins, and other important molecules that keep that wall tight and waterproof. In healthy skin, the bricks are snug and mortar is thick and sturdy, blocking out invaders like bacteria, allergens, and irritants, while locking in moisture safely inside. Now, picture a wall where the mortar is crumbling and full of cracks. Water's leaking out, dust and dirt and pests are sneaking through the gaps. The wall becomes weak, dry, and easily damaged. And that's what happens in eczema. The mortar of your skin barrier is broken down. Moisture is escaping too easily and irritants are slipping in, triggering the immune system to overreact. So that leads to dryness, the redness, the itchiness, and the inflammation. So when we treat eczema, we're not just trying to soothe the surface, we're trying to repair and rebuild that broken wall, sealing the gaps, strengthening the barrier, and calming the immune response from inside out. I hope that helps a little bit to give you more of a visual of what is happening to that skin so that you can treat it in a better way. Another really common condition that is tied to gut health is rosacea. Rosacea is a chronic inflammatory skin disorder that primarily affects the central part of the face, the cheeks, nose, forehead, and chin. Gut disorders like small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, much otherwise known as SIBO, have been closely tied to rosacea. Unlike acne, rosacea isn't about clogged pores. Instead, it's about inflammation and blood vessel dysfunction. People with rosacea experience symptoms like persistent redness, especially around the cheeks and nose, flushing or blushing easily, visible small blood vessels, and red bumps or pimples that look like acne but aren't exactly the same thing, thickening of the skin over time, especially around the nose, in severe cases, and eye irritation, a condition called ocular rosacea. If you're wondering who gets rosacea, anyone can develop it, but mostly it's common in adults 30 to 50, people with fair skin, especially Celtic or Northern European descent, and individuals with a family history of rosacea. It's not like just those people, but that's kind of what the studies are showing. And the root causes isn't really fully understood, but researchers are believing that it involves a combination of immune system overreaction. So the inflammatory pathways are overactive. There are abnormalities in blood vessels leading to redness and flushing. Demodex mites, so they're little mites that live on the skin naturally, but may overgrow with rosacea. And then, of course, there's the gut health imbalances, and this is where it gets really, really interesting. Because a lot of people, I don't think that there's a connection between the gut and your skin, but there is the gut-brain connection that we're now talking about. So this all really makes a lot of sense. The gut connection for rosacea, there's been several studies that have found that people with rosacea are more likely to have gut conditions, like I mentioned before, the SIBO, Helicobacter pylori infections. It's a type of bacteria that's linked to stomach ulcers. And in fact, treating SIBO has been shown to dramatically improve rosacea symptoms in some cases. The theory is that when the gut is imbalanced, it increases systemic inflammation, which can trigger flare-ups on the skin, especially in the sensitive condition like rosacea. The common triggers for rosacea flare-ups, because rosacea involves sensitive blood vessels and immune reactions, there are certain triggers, and those triggers are spicy foods, alcohol, especially red wine, hot beverages, sun exposure, stress, extreme heat or cold, and certain skincare ingredients. While there's no outright cure yet, rosacea can be managed with gentle skincare routines, avoiding personal triggers, anti-inflammatories, which often support gut health, and that will be eating your fermented foods, taking your probiotics again. And there are some prescription medications like topical creams or oral antibiotics and laser therapies that have seemed to be effective. But I would really recommend that you check in with your gut first to make sure that everything is going well and that you're balanced and that there's no issues there. The bottom line is that if you struggle with rosacea, it's not a surface level skin issue. Healing often means working from the inside out, and improving gut health would be a first powerful step. Now, I want to talk to something that might surprise people, but premature aging and how it's deeply connected to your gut. Chronic inflammation from gut issues can break down collagen and elastin faster, leading to fine lines and loss of skin firmness earlier than expected. When we think about aging, we usually blame things like too much sun exposure, smoking, or even getting older. And while those are real factors, the gut does play a hidden powerful role in how fast your skin shows signs of aging. So there's a new thing, and I don't know if any of you have heard of it. It's called the inflammaging phenomenon. And scientists are now using the term inflammaging to describe how chronic low-grade inflammation speeds up the aging process, not just in the skin, but into the entire body. So when your gut is imbalanced, meaning you have too many harmful bacteria and not enough beneficial ones, it can trigger a constant low-level inflammatory response. It could release inflammatory chemicals like cytokines into your bloodstream, and over time, this chronic inflammation breaks down collagen and elastin, the proteins that keep your skin firm, smooth, and resilient. Without strong collagen and elastin, skin starts sagging, developing fine wrinkles and fine lines, a dull, tired appearance earlier than it should. Another thing is the oxidative stress. So gut imbalance equals more free radicals. So your gut microbiome is going to play a big role in regulating oxidative stress, which is the damage caused by unsustainable molecules called free radicals. A healthy gut helps neutralize free radicals and reduce skin damage. But if your gut is inflamed or leaking in toxins into your bloodstream, which is the leaky gut, it can cause increased oxidative stress, making your skin age faster. And this is the signs that you're going to see are fine lines and wrinkles, uneven skin tone, loss of that youthful, plump look, that glow. So those are the signs that is starting to happen. Then you have that you're starving your skin. You're getting poor nutrient absorption. When your gut isn't healthy, you don't absorb nutrients efficiently. And even if you're eating clean, healthy diet, you may not be eating or taking in enough or the right nutrients. And so you could be malnourishing your body and skin. So your skin might not be getting enough vitamin C, essential for collagen production, vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant, zinc, which is needed for skin repair and renewal, and essential fatty acids, which keep the skin barrier strong and supple. And these can all be found like in certain foods. And you can really start to ramp up your diet with like great fatty fishes like salmon, sardines, that kind of thing. You want to eat lots of fruit like berries, strawberries, blackberries, that kind of thing for your vitamin C, some like red peppers. Basically, you really want to eat the color of the rainbow in order to get some of these really great vitamins and minerals that are essential for your skin. Without these nutrients, the skin becomes weaker, thinner, and less able to protect itself from the environment damage, and you'll speed up the visible signs of aging. Then we talked a little bit of hormonal imbalance, so another aging accelerator. And we talked about how the gut health influences hormones. So hormone imbalances, especially imbalances in cortisol, the stress hormone, and estrogen, can lead to loss of skin elasticity, dryness, thinning skin, accelerated wrinkle formation. Since the gut helps regulate and detoxify hormones, an unhealthy gut can throw this delicate system way off balance, further speeding up premature aging. So in short, a healthy gut equals youthful skin, not sin, skin. And then an unhealthy gut equals inflammation, oxidative stress, nutrient loss, hormone chaos, and skin that looks older than it should. So really start to pay attention to what you're feeding your gut and heal that gut. Is there a silver lining? Yes, because the gut regenerates so quickly, cells in the gut lining renew every few days, so you're in luck. Healing the gut can lead to visible skin improvements within weeks or months. So start getting in those fermented foods like kimchi, sauerkraut, eat your kefir. Those kind of things are really going to ramp up your skin and you're going to see noticeable differences. There are some simple steps to reverse gut-driven aging, including eating, like I just said, an antioxidant-rich inflammatory diet, lots of colorful fruits and vegetables, reducing sugar and processed food. That's huge. Really try to get rid of those sugary treats and snacks. Yes, they can be treated as treats and there are options, but try to just reduce it as much as possible. Supporting the gut microbiome with probiotics and prebiotics. So that's just find a really great probiotic that you can incorporate into your diet and your routine. Managing stress effectively. So do some yoga, meditation. We have a podcast on lymphatic drainage. You're going to want to do that as well. Go for some facial milk, go for long walks. Just do whatever you can to remove yourself from daily, everyday stress and take time for yourself. It's really important. I can't stress it enough in quotations, but you really need to give yourself the time to heal. And also stay well hydrated. You don't want to overdo the water, but you also want to just make sure that you're staying hydrated within the day. As soon as you start to feel pasty and think that, oh gosh, I'm thirsty, that's a little too late. You should already be replenishing your water and getting that nourishing for hydration. In our podcast last week, Dabney talked about ways that you can get glowing skin and that herbs that can help. And your skin truly reflects the health of your gut. Every glow, every wrinkle, every change, it tells a story. So how can herbal remedies be powerful allies for both the gut and skin naturally? When it comes to balancing gut health and clearing the skin, certain herbs have been trusted for centuries. They work by calming inflammation, repairing the gut lining, balancing the microbiome, and detoxifying the body, all of which show up beautifully on your skin. So since she's talked about it in the last podcast, I'm just going to kind of briefly touch upon it because I just want to show the correlation between some of the herbs that will be helpful for your gut as well as your skin. So they're like a 2-for-1, and they're very easy to incorporate. One I like to use is aloe vera. It's a very good gut soother, and it helps soothe the digestive tract. It can help leaky gut, and it reducing inflammation. It also helps your skin because it's rich in antioxidants, hydration, and promoting a healthy glow. Now, I know that aloe vera isn't readily available for most. Look for pure inner leaf unsweetened beverages. And really, I highly stress this, start slow to avoid any laxative effects because they can have a bit of a laxative effect on your system. So just go a little bit at a time, and also the consistency or the texture might be a little, let's say, slimy for lack of better words for some people, but it's actually really, really good for you. So I really highly encourage it. Another herb that's really good for both skin and gut healing is the slippery elm. So in the gut, it will coat and soothe the stomach and intestines. It's helpful for IBS, reflux, or leaky gut. And in the skin, it will help by reducing the internal inflammation. It can calm down eczema, rosacea, and acne flare-ups. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take the slippery elm powder with water into a gel and drink it just before you have a meal. And any of these things that I suggest, please check with your health practitioner if you're taking any other medications or have any conditions, just to make sure there's no contraindications when you're trying anything new. There's also licorice root, which is a really great natural inflammatory gut lining protector, especially for ulcers and gut irritation. I highly recommend this instead of mint because it's definitely a soother, doesn't irritate. And then in your skin, it helps lower the stress hormones like cortisol, which indirectly will reduce hormonal acne. It's important, a little note, that you use DGL, glycerinated licorice, to avoid raising blood pressure. That's really important to note because I want to make sure that you're using the right thing if you do try. And please, if your we don't want your blood pressure to go even higher if you have high blood pressure. So please pay very, very close attention when using licorice at any time because they're all not treated the same. Turmeric, really good for the gut, potent anti-inflammatory and antioxidant, helps balance your gut microbiota, and it's also good for your skin because it reduces redness, acne, and supports collagen preservation. So how can you use it? I like to make it a golden milk out of it. I like to use it in my tea with black pepper for better absorption. So when you're making golden milk, which is like taking your turmeric, you can steep it as a root or you can buy it as a powder. I like the root and I put it in with some ginger and some pepper. It's very heating, but I also will add some sort of milk alternative like almond milk, but you can use regular milk, a little maybe maple syrup if I like, and that's how I like to treat my golden milk. I will also add in sometimes a little hint of cinnamon. And that's it. It's really delicious and I love it a lot. Marshmallow root is a powerful mucilaginous herb that soothes the entire digestive tract and helps repair the gut lining. It will help the skin by calming inflammation and dryness, which benefits eczema and sensitive skin. So how would you use? You can steep the marshmallow root in cold water overnight, and then you can make a nice soothing drink for the morning. So that's really, really, really great. Chamomile has been around for a long time for your gut. It soothes digestion, reduces bloating and gas, and has gentle antimicrobial effects. For the skin, it calms sensitive, irritated skin, reduces redness, even when drunk as a tea. So the bonus is it will help reduce stress, which benefits the gut and skin indirectly. Burdock root in the gut acts as a prebiotic, feeding healthy gut bacteria. In your skin, it's a traditional skin detox herb, great for clearing acne, eczema, and general inflammation. And you can make a burdock tea or find it in tinctures, which is really, really. And then you have dandelion root, which supports the gut, supports the liver by bile production, helping with digestion and detoxification. It also helps the skin, clearing the liver, clearer skin. So clearer liver equals clearer skin. So that's helpful for stubborn, and it's helpful for stubborn hormonal breakouts. So we've got like a 2-for-1. You can use it as a dandelion tea, or there's also the roasted dandelion coffee, which is a great coffee alternative as well. A lot of people like to use that instead of coffee. Highly recommend as well for any of you who are trying to get off the coffee. So there's a quick note just about using herbs. They're really, really powerful. Dabney's probably mentioned this in hers, and just start really low and slow. Again, check with your healthcare provider if you're pregnant, breastfeeding, or on any medication. Quality matters. Look for organic, trusted sources. And in short, when you nourish your gut with nature's pharmacy, your skin can almost can't help but reflect the results. The right herbs can soothe your system from inside out, reducing inflammation, reducing balance, and giving you the healthy glow that we all crave. In terms of some practical tips to incorporate, I would love to tell you that I've talked about a little bit before. Make sure you're getting a lot of fiber in your diet. So from fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, that's going to feed your good bacteria in your gut. I told you about the probiotics, fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi, which are going to introduce beneficial bacteria that help balance your gut microbiome. You can also consider certain supplements, high quality probiotic or gut healing supplements